After 3.5 years, I finally got to see my doctor. For 3.5 years, since soon after the mending of my broken neck from the car accident almost 4 years ago, I had not been to a doctor. I have been calling my doctor, emailing my doctor, texting my doctor, trying to get seen. I kept reminding my doctor of my age, of the fact that I'm a black man, the fact that I hadn't seen a doctor, hadn't had any yearly checkups. I kept calling, kept emailing, kept texting, and my doctor never got back to me. I would try being very, very nice. I tried begging, will you please get back to me? I want to see how I'm doing inside the body. Please, please, please. For almost 3 years, she never got back to me. I couldn't believe it. I drove to the hospital several times, thinking if I just showed up, she'd have to see me. But it didn't work. My mind went into an ego space, for sure. I began to wonder what was wrong with her. I told people things like, I think she's racist, because she was my new doctor anyway. And I only got to see her once, and she sat so far away from me and bent way over just to take my blood pressure, like she was afraid to touch me. She had no bedside manner whatsoever. She was not endearing in any way. I don't think she likes me. I think something's wrong with her. I had an attitude of no gratitude for her as time went on. I had an attitude of upset. Every time anybody asked me, well, have you seen a doctor yet? Have you had a physical yet? I was so quick to say, no, that woman, I don't know, that woman is crazy. She won't even get back to me, blah, 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 blah. Finally, a few weeks ago, I got a text saying I was scheduled to get in for a physical. I couldn't wait. I could not wait to see my doctor, to give her a piece of my mind, to tell her that not getting back to one of your very own patients for over 2.5 years made no sense at all. Her license should be questioned. It was crazy. I had saved all the texts that I had sent to her over a year and a half so that she could see that I was really nice and gentle in the beginning, and how I tried to understand, and how because of her actions, my patience was gradually wearing out. I wanted to show her the final text that she did not respond to, where I said, you are like no other doctor I have ever had, nor could I ever imagine. And I question how you get to keep being a doctor if you won't get back to your patient. I could not wait to get to that hospital, to get into that room, and to lay on this woman my upset. I got there, I checked in, a nurse brought me into a room, took my blood pressure, my weight, my height, and said, "Your doctor will be in to see you very shortly." A few minutes later, there was a tiny knock, and then the door swung open. And as it swung open, I swung around in my chair, filled with fire. And it wasn't her. It was a guy, a young guy. I said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm your doctor." "Well, I see," and he goes right into it. "Well, I see your weight is so-and-so, and well, I see you, and your blood pressure, and and he goes, "When were you last in this?" And I went, "It's been 3 years. I have been calling my doctor. Who are you?" He said, "I'm your doctor." I said, "No, my doctor is," and I gave her name, and he said, "Oh, how was your experience with her?" I said, "Dude, you don't even want to hear what my experience with her. I'm so mad at that woman, I don't know what to do. I was here ready to spit bullets at her. And what are you doing here in her place?" And he says, almost 3 years ago, she was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. She has been fighting for her life for the last close to 3 years. She was no longer able to keep up working. She's not here anymore. It was really, really bad what she went through. I said, "Excuse me, Dr. Gage, I need a minute." And I closed my eyes and I folded my hands, and out of my mouth came, "God forgive me. God forgive me. God, take each curse that I have extended toward her and transform it into a blessing. God, forgive me. I had no idea. I didn't know." And in the space of a void of knowing, I started making stuff up. None of it good. All of it judgmental. Much of it harshly judgmental. I've been condemning my sister while she has been fighting for her life. God, forgive me. Grow me up. Transform my mind. Purify my heart. And let any curse I've ever extended to anyone for reasons I made up be returned to the nothingness from whence they came and transformed into love and appreciation. Then I took a deep breath and I opened my eyes, and my doctor was crying, and I was crying. And a good full 5 minutes went by before we got back to the business. I thought about this today when I read today's word. For some reason, this guy, Carlos, who eats a good diet sometime and sometimes eats chips and cookies all day, exercises maybe once a week, not much more. I don't necessarily take care of my body temple the way I should. I used to be so pure. My diet, my exercise program, my whole regime was so pure. Until the day my brother died. And the day my brother died, I was so angry, I didn't know what to do. Because when my brother died, it was scarcely a year after my dad had died. And Johnny Earl was diagnosed with AIDS. My three main men, Daddy's gone, Chuck's now gone, Johnny Earl has AIDS, and it looks like he's going to be gone. I realized that I was playing let's make a deal with God. I will live as pure as I can. I will sing praises to you. I will preach for you. I will eat a vegetarian or macrobiotic diet for you. I will honor my body and my life for you. You just keep everybody I love alive. You hear me? When my brother died, I was so mad. My son saw me getting into my car and said, "Dad, wait up. I'm riding with you. You can't go by yourself." And I turned on him and said, "Ride with your grandma. I have got to be alone. I got to give God a piece of my mind." I was so angry. My son got in the car with my mom and I drove straight to the liquor store. Pure Carlos wasn't going to be pure no more. I bought myself a bottle of alcohol, bought myself a pack of cigarettes, and said I'm going back to where I was before I purified myself so that you could keep my blessings. You broke your end of the bargain. I'm breaking mine. And I went into a wild, wild period. Smoking and drinking and partying and sex, drugs, rock and roll. Mad. Until one day it exhausted me. One day I woke up and said, "You can't play let's make a deal with God." You can purify, you can sing songs of praise, you can preach the gospel. And when it comes your loved one's time to return to the light, they will. And many of your hopes and dreams will be dashed. And your investments won't work out. It's the way it is, buddy. And I was surprised, and so was my doctor. They gave me a battery of pretty much every test you could give anybody. Thank God for Medicare, because I never could have paid those bills. He was shocked and I was shocked to find out that I am in very, 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 very good health. My lungs, he said, were pink, looked like the lungs of a non-smoker. No evidence of cancer or any concern whatsoever throughout my body. He said all we could find was one tiny little aortic aneurysm, which is not a problem. In 3 years, you will take another test so that we can see if it is still there. And he shook his head because I had told him the truth. Do you exercise? Uh, so little that there's no need for me to even say yes, actually. I mean, I work, I dig, I plant, I work in the garden, but no, I don't do cardio and all that stuff. Do you drink alcohol? I drink Sam Adams, I said, nothing else. Sam Adams? Yeah, it's a beer. Mm. Every day? No, not every day, but more days than not. How many? I don't know, 4, 5. Mm. You smoke? Yep. You smoke? Yep. I'm a minister and I go to summer and winter retreats. They have a designated area for the smokers. If there are 60 people at the retreat, there are only 3 people these days in the smoking area. Me and 2 others. Mm. You're okay with that? Mm-hmm. Wow. I wonder what your tests are going to show. I don't know, buddy, I said. I have no clue. When we found out that my test came back looking so good, he said, it must be your genes. Timothy spoke right up. I had brought him in there that day. He's my proxy. Timothy said, nope, not his genes. Mom died of cancer, sister died of cancer, grandfather died of cancer, blah, 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 blah. And he said, well, if it's not your genes, it's just one of those mysteries. I said, you know how to spell that mystery? G R A C E. It's not because of my exercise program. It's not because of my diet. It's not because I'm pure. It's just because of the grace of God. I spent 2.5 years cussing out my doctor. And then I get a clean bill of health. Who is this God? Who is my creator? Wow. When I read today's daily word, I got tears down my eyes thinking, this is why you have a clean bill of health. This is why you're able to remain sane in an insane world. This is why you can sincerely declare, thank you, God, for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. I'm not playing let's make a deal with God anymore. And for some reason, my clean bill of health has inspired me to become more pure. God's grace is sufficient to meet every need. You know, psychologists and doctors have reported that the time leading up to Thanksgiving through the New Year, these are the times where more people suffer depression than at other times of the year. More people go into abject confusion. There are more assaults and batteries. There are more people in relationship who are icky to each other. In the season of Thanksgiving, a lot of people who have been thankful lose their hold on it. I'm glad that all I did was give thanks. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I feel like I've been in church nonstop for the last 4 days because for the last 4 days, I have been fixated to my TV. I don't know what's going on in the world over the last 4 days. I know what's going on Walton's Mountain. There has been a marathon of the Waltons, and I have watched 57 episodes over the last 4 days. Babies being born and babies dying. People beginning businesses only to have the building or the warehouse burned down. People needing their crops to pay their bills, and the locusts come. Racism, ageism, sexism, dreams deferred. 57 episodes of people being impacted by life and the trials and the tribulations of life. And they keep on keeping on. They keep on putting one foot in front of another foot. And Mary Ellen, who has lost her husband, on her honeymoon, who was absolutely sure that she will never smile again, sometime later, has a smile on her face. And John Boy's bride, who has lost her baby, a couple of years later, adopts 2 kids who need a mama. I've been in church for 4 days on Walton's Mountain. I give thanks for grace. I'm complete.